because we allow it, and you will end because we demand it.
So many of you probably already know, but I'm not a PC guy, and I have games on my PC, but I do not play games on my computer. And I know from my times working at GameStop and just other people that I know that play it, that the mouse and keyboard combination is just a more accurate, more precise control setup. I know it. I know that. But I just personally, I haven't used it. I haven't played any games on my computer that required that. So it's not it. But I say that to say this. I'm looking, and Steam is coming out with their own home computer kind of console-ish type box called the Steam box. But that's not the part that excites me. The controller is effing amazing. You got to look at it. Now the first thing is, it looks like the controller is just backwards. Like if you flipped your Xbox 360 controller over, it looks like that, because the little grips, the little bulgy parts at the bottom of your controller are actually turned the other direction, opposite direction for it. Now the other thing is, it has two little recessed sensor pads. They look like nipples to me, but it has two little recessed sensor pads, and I've seen that set up before on there were some controllers back when I was at GameStop that were released with what the heck was that? Street Fighter 2. And matter of fact, they had it back there on maybe Super Nintendo. I may have seen it at, but it had the same little setup where you could kind of touch inside of the controller, touch inside the little circle, and it would register your movements. The problem is you lose your location in there. You're not quite sure if you hit it. You're not sure where you are and all that stuff. So it becomes pretty difficult to actually play the game in that manner. Now the thing is, with the Steam controller, of course, now it has the two circles, but it has haptic feedback. So on your phone, when you touch the buttons on the touchscreen, you feel the little feedback. It rumbles a little bit. So on the controllers themselves, it has all these little things under there, so when you touch it, it gives you different sensitivity depending on how you press it. Now the other thing is, the two recessed things are buttons as well, so you can click them to do whatever, just like on your controller, your 360 controller or PS3 controller. You can click it. Now the other cool feature I thought on that controller was the touchpad in the middle. There's a little glass display touchpad. Now that's not new, because the Ouye or Ouye, what is that thing called? That has a touchpad, so you can kind of, for developers and for gamers, the developers can put buttons on there, so it can be contextual, so they can add additional buttons on the touchpad, on the display itself, because it's backlit, so it's an actual display. Also, the display can be pressed like a button. It clicks, so it can be an entire button onto itself, onto its own. So I think that's a amazing idea. I don't know why nobody's thought of that one before. To touch, just click the display, like click it, that's a button. Another cool feature that they put in there was, so you don't have to be looking down at the controller in case there's stuff on there. Whenever you touch the touchpad display, the display actually pops up on the screen, so you don't have to look down on it. Everything that you would have seen down there actually pops up on the screen, so you can just look, touch, okay, I need to do this, this, and that. And again, that's really, really innovative. I don't know why people have not thought of that either. Now, the other thing, it has about 16 buttons, so I think your Xbox and PS3 controller at like 13 or 14, give or take. So it has a couple of more buttons, I think the touchpad, and there's some other buttons around the display, the touchpad on there, and the buttons themselves are laid out according to how frequently you're going to be pressing that particular button. So I'm hoping, the final design isn't like the GameCube controller. You know how weird it was with the A button here, the little button here, little button there. So I hope it's not like that. Now it's gonna have you're going to be able to switch or sync your control setup. So for those titles now that weren't made for the Steam controller, they're going to be able to kind of switch. You can basically set up the controller how you think it should be set up, so you can be able to play it and do all that stuff, which again, I think that is Amazon. And I just overall, I think that controller is awesome. Like, they had a couple of developers that had a chance to use the controller itself, and the guy said that, you know, he was a first-person shooter console kind of guy, and it took him all of 5 minutes to get used to the controller setup. But once he got on it, it's more precise than anything that you could have used on a console, on a controller, anything like that. So I think it's a great idea. It looks really cool. I know they got some negative press from all those other cats, but I think that thing is gonna be amazing.
Fast for years, yeah.